Good morning, guys. Welcome to my replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for jumping in, checking out my broadcast. Sorry I missed you live, but so glad you guys took some time to check it out. What is up to my live crew this morning? Great to see you all this morning. So glad to have you here. I appreciate you guys coming in to hang out with me on this Thursday morning. Great morning to you, Jacqueline. Thanks so much for coming in. Brian, good morning to you. Tracy, great morning to you. Kim, it's nice to see you. Great morning to you as well. I see you, Alexis. It's nice to see you this morning. We're going to continue the series that we started yesterday called Sold Out, guys. It's a two-part series, and I'm sharing with you this is a bit of a beginner's guide on how to create, launch, and sell out on your own signature program. We're digging into the who, the what, the why, the how, and giving you a variety of different angles to think about your own signature program and how you can launch that thing and sell that thing out in today's market. All right, so I want to give this to you in every way that I can, give every angle I can get you to think about, and we're going to continue unpacking this conversation for you today. So good morning to all of you. I appreciate you. Autumn, good morning to you. Carice, good morning to you. All you guys that know me, you know who I am, and you know how I roll. I would love to have you hit that share button and invite your crew into the broadcast. Get anybody in here that you think may want to hang out with us and take part in this conversation this morning, all right? And then if anybody's brand new, if you've never seen me before, if you have no idea who I am, first of all, welcome. I would love to greet you into the broadcast and say hello. If you want to give me a hashtag first time and let me know if it is the first time you've ever seen me, I would love to say hello, and my crew would love to make you feel welcome. So let me know if it is the first time you've ever joined in with us. And then lastly, guys, I very much appreciate every single one of y'all that is checking this out on the replay. Those guys that are on the replay, I would love for you to know that you can comment and interact with this broadcast. I would love for you to give me a hashtag replay. I do see those comments and I do respond to those as well, so I'd love to know that you were here, all right? Celia, what's up, buddy? Thanks for coming in. Glenda, great morning to you. Kelsey, what's happening? It's nice to see you. Kathy, good morning to you. Appreciate all of y'all. We're going to roll, guys, because you know I do not waste my time and I choose not to waste yours, so let's jam. All right, y'all, that is who I am. That is what I do. Justin Kaplan Pro is my name. JustinKaplanPro.com is my website. I'm a startup business mentor and a branding strategist that specializes in helping startup entrepreneurs just like you turn your passion, turn your gifting, turn your idea into a profitable and sustainable brand that rises up in this challenging digital marketplace to draw in the 21st century consumers that want and need what you have to offer. Guys, I broadcast live every single weekday morning from Tuesday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, hooking you guys up with business building tips, hacks, and principles. Anything I can give it up to grow your business, expand your ministry, bring our vision to life, and grow that brand of yours online in this digital marketplace. All right, Daniel, should we go this morning, buddy? Let's roll, man. Good morning to you. We're talking today about how to sell out your own signature program. This is a beginner's guide just to ask you a bunch of questions about the things that you need to be thinking about if you're trying to create, launch, and sell out your own signature program. And I'm curious to all you guys that are watching, we're live on 5 different networks right now. If you want to put in the chat stream, do you currently have a signature program? Is there something that you would consider a signature program that you're currently having? And if you do have one and you got a pretty good idea of what exactly it is, I would love for you to put it in the chat stream, because I would love for our audience to see kind of what everybody else is doing, because a lot of you guys don't know each other. So if you have what you would consider to be a signature program, I would love for you to put it in the chat stream and give us a bit of a description. Now, if you don't currently have a signature program, but maybe you have an idea or something that you're trying to build from, I would love for you to put that in the chat stream as well. You can see, like, don't currently have it formatted, but I would like to do this. And you can put that in the chat stream. And I want to see who's doing what, so I'd love for you to put that in the chat stream. And I got a question yesterday after the first part of this series. We tackled the first 3 kind of big chunks yesterday, and just to give you a quick summary of yesterday. So yesterday we talked about the what. What is it that you're selling? And are you offering a prescription for someone's root problem, or are you simply offering a Band-Aid for their symptom? We talked the difference between symptoms and roots, and how you really need to structure your offer to make sure it's something that people will really, really want. And you got to ask yourself, what will they really be willing to pay for? So we unpacked that a little bit yesterday. We also talked about the who. The Who, thank you so much, Burroughs, as a home warranty company. I love it. We talked about the Who is the past, present, and the future. Specifically, who needs what it is that you're selling. And we talked about how to simplify who needs what you're selling. We talked about where are they, how did they get there, and where do they want to go. So we're really trying to understand who your target consumer is and how you attract them. And then lastly, we really talked about what's going to make them desire change. What's going to make them want what you have to offer. Kathy does guiding business for wildlife. I love that, Kathy. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. So I want to continue digging into this and continue giving you some angles to think about this morning. But I got a question yesterday after my I got a question yesterday after the first segment of this broadcast, and somebody reached out to me and said, Justin, what exactly is a signature program? I'm not sure if I have one or not. And I'm like, wow. I guess I should have explained that. So I want to tackle that this morning real quick. So this is how I look at a signature program. Basically, no matter what it is that you do, no matter what your service is, no matter what your product is, no matter what your brand or business idea is, everyone needs to have a signature. Just like a restaurant has a signature dish, every business needs to have a signature service or a signature product. And it doesn't have to be labeled that, or it doesn't have to be framed as that, but what you want is you want to know what your go-to product or service is. Basically, usually a signature program is the most valuable thing that you offer. It's your go-to recommendation when you're dealing with a target consumer. So, like for me, if I'm doing branding and business development, I do coaching and I do graphic design and website design and logo design and brand development and content creation and product creation and all these things that I do all these things. But when someone comes to me and says to me, Justin, I got an idea. I want to make an investment. I'm ready to get some help, and I want to take this idea that I have and I want to turn it in to a business. I need your help. Where should we start? I could recommend them all of these different things that I do and just kind of walk them step by step, but instead I have a signature program that combines all the most valuable things that I offer and the most specific things that I believe you need, and that's my signature branding package. That's my go-to offer. It's probably what about 85% of the clients that I currently have invested in that signature branding package is my baby. It's not the most expensive thing that I offer, but it is the most valuable thing, and it's my go-to program. It's my benchmark, it's my backbone, and it's been my backbone in my business since I started. And so when I started my business almost 6 years ago, I started out with a small signature branding package, and my branding package has evolved. So your signature offer is basically your baby. It's your signature. It's the thing that you are most excited about, most passionate about. It incorporates the best of what you can do, and it's your baby. It's the thing that when you are interacting with someone that falls under the line of your target audience, someone that's definitely a potential customer, that signature offer is the recommendation you give to them. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Good morning, Tina. So I see all your comments. Jacqueline has a signature offer. Autumn, right now I'm working on the no like and trust factor via videos. Okay, so you're focusing on wellness, business, and service. I love it. Okay, so let's dive into this. Let's give you some more questions. So yesterday I tackled a bit of the who, the what, and we're gonna go a little bit more into the how today. All right. So, I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna save that one for the end. I want to go a little bit more into the what now, since we're talking about what a signature program is. The first thing I want to ask you this morning is I want to ask you, in regards to your what, in regards to your product, is this a process or is a product? We're gonna say process versus product here, right? Because this is the thing. One of the biggest challenges, and we'll call this your quote of the day. This is one of Justin's quotes. One of the number one mistakes that online marketers make is that they focus on marketing what their product is versus marketing what their product does. I'm going to say that again. One of the number one mistakes that consumers make in today's marketplace when they're marketing their product is they market what their product is versus marketing what their product does. This is when we have to distinguish a product versus a process. So when I bring that up, I made a giant mistake very early on in my business when I was attempting to marketing myself, and I was spending a lot of time telling you about all the things that I was selling, and I was talking about what that thing is. And so if you're having a potential client in front of you and you're pitching all of your stuff, it's very easy to go down the road of just explaining everything that makes up your product, everything that makes up your service. This is what we're going to do, and if you invest in this, you're going to get weekly one-on-ones with me. You're going to get this, and this, and this. We're going to work through this together. We're going to do this together. I'm going to put you in a Facebook group where you're going to be able to interact with that. We're going to get, you just start unloading all the things that your package is. But what the consumer really cares about, and what will really make them get out their credit card, is when you're able to take what your package is and communicate how that will impact their life. What they pay for is not what it is. What they pay for is what it does. And so if someone says to me, Justin, can you tell me about how I'm going to work with you? Let me give you this as an example. Someone says, Justin, I'm interested in working with you. How do I get started with you? What would be the best place for us to start? Absolutely. What I would recommend is going to be my signature branding package, and here's why. I have refined my signature branding package over the past 5 years to give you what I believe is exactly what you need and nothing that you don't. I don't want you spending a second of your time or a dime on your money on anything that's not going to produce a direct result. So what I do is I've framed up a signature branding package, and I've built this in 4 segments that I believe are crucial to the branding process, to the development process, and to really have a business that is viable, sustainable, and profitable. So we start out, stage 1 is establishing your business concept. I'm going to work you through all the things like buying a domain name, establishing your business concept, getting your name established, getting your title established, all the things that help you communicate it. Because one of the major challenges that a lot of people have when they first start a business is someone will ask you, what do you do? And you don't know how to answer that question. So I help you through that process to make sure that we can clearly, articulately, and confidently communicate your brand to the market. And then I'll also want to make sure that we immediately start impacting your Google search engine results, because people are going to go to Google to search you up, and we want to make sure that they find what we want them to find. So I'm going to help you through establishing your professional title, your mission statement, helping you write a great bio, all the things to help you communicate your brand. That's stage 1. Then we're going to go into stage 2, and stage 2 is all the design elements. So I'm going to design your logo for you, design all your cover photos for you, get all the graphics created. So basically all of that represents the perception that people have of you. So when people see you, we want them to see you as a first-class professional, because people will interact with you based upon their perception of you. So I'm going to help you establish a first-class visual appeal so people can really see that you are truly a business. All of the visual elements, including headshots and logo and graphics for your social media, all tie into your website and all tie into how people will engage with you, because the better we can present you, the more results you're going to get. Stage 3 is your website. Your website is going to be an employee of your business. I want to build that website to work for you. It should be generating traffic for you, generating leads for you, showing all of your consumers the best things that you have to offer. I build all my websites custom because I want it to represent you. I want to really embody who you are as a professional as well as a personal person. And I want people to really see what you're about. So we're going to build your website custom. We're going to make sure that that is something that's really going to embody who you are. That's stage 3. And then stage 4 is I'm going to help you with your strategy and your execution. We're basically going to take all the things that I've built for you, and I'm going to show you how to use them. We're going to work on content strategy, engagement strategy, pricing strategy. I'm going to teach you how to generate leads. I'm going to teach you how to turn social media interactions into paying clients. So basically, I'm going to take all the things that I've created for you, and I'm going to show you how to use them so you know exactly what you need to do and how to do it. I'm with you every step of the way. By the time we're done, it'll be about a 6-month process. By the time we're going to be done, you're going to be fully confident and know how to step into your brand, into your business, and operate it successfully and grow it and scale it. How does that feel to you? Pause. All right, so I just ripped that off quick. I know I just gave a ton of information, but hopefully you can see how I communicated what I communicated through each of those stages, right? So each of those stages, first of all, I'm communicating to you throughout that I have a structure. Structure is important. Somebody put in the chat stream, structure is important, because I think today more than ever, today's market, today's climate, more than ever, people are nervous about spending money on tradesmen, on coaches, on professionals, because they don't want to be screwed over. They don't want to be swindled. They don't want to be scammed. So people are nervous about spending their money because there's so much garbage service providers out there. So one of the things that is super important for you when you are marketing your product, service, or program is that it's really important for you to communicate that you have a structure, that you have a plan, that you're going to be with them every step of the way, that whatever it is that you're doing, you want to give them a vision for how you're going to work it out. Because listen, if you could probably, let me ask you a question. Would you guys say that I confidently communicated what I do? Like, do you think I'm believable? Yes or no in the chat stream? Do you think based upon how I communicate my service to you, do you feel like I know what I'm doing? That's so important. Because if you lack confidence in your ability to communicate what you do, the person listening to you is going to lack confidence in your ability to deliver it for them. You've got to be able to communicate to your audience what you do and how you do it. So having a structure to your brand is very, very important. So I start right out with you. Yes, absolutely. What I would recommend is my signature branding package, and here's why. I have been refining this program for the past 5 years, and I believe it's everything that you need and nothing that you don't to build a sustainable, viable, and profitable business on leveraging the online space. This is important. I segment my business or my signature offer into 4 buckets. And here's why. I want to walk you through the step of the process. So stage 1 is this. I talk briefly about what we're going to do, but I talk way more about how that is going to impact you. So I talk about Google search results, talk about figuring out the things that you don't know, helping you write this, helping you create this, being able to answer the question, what do you do? Because I know those are all things that people are frustrated by and don't know how to answer. Because we've all been through the thing where someone asks you, what do you do? And you're like, I don't know. I'm a business coach, right? Because you didn't know what else to say, right? We've all been there. So I want to go right after pain points. You don't know how to communicate yourself. You have no idea what you got to do to get a domain name or write a bio or how to create a value statement. So I'm going to help you through all of that. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is all the graphic elements. I'm going to design a first-class logo for you, help you set up your social media platforms, get all the graphics and imagery, your headshots, all the things that are so important to your visual appeal. So I talk briefly about what I do, and then I go way into why we do it. Why we're doing this is because perception is so important and people are sizing you up so quickly. So we have to create an appeal around you, so when people do experience you, we're really setting you up to be able to attract their business. All right, so each step of the way, good morning, Jared. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Each step of the way, I'm giving you briefly what I do, but then I'm expanding upon why I do it. So when I go back to this point, process versus product, again, one of the number one mistakes that marketers make when they're communicating their product or service is that they focus and spend way too much time communicating what their process is instead of communicating what their process does. The consumer pays for what it does. They pay for the finish line. They don't care about how many sessions we're going to have together or how many steps we're going to go through. Honestly, you can over communicate that. I have a great example from a great friend of mine, client of mine, Celia, who's in here. We've talked about this before, so I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this. But Celia is a parenting coach. She's probably one of the most incredible parenting coaches I've ever known. She's an amazing, amazing person and amazing coach. She's very incredibly talented. But Celia was having a coaching call with a client, and Celia, are you still in here? Throw your hand up, Celia, if you're still in here. I'm sure. Let me know if you would prefer me not to share the story, but I'm sure she won't mind. Because Celia is my baby, is my buddy. So Celia was having a coaching call with a potential client. It was a husband and wife, and they were wanting some help with their child. And she was going into the coaching call. Well, both of these customers that she was talking to are lawyers. And so she went through her process. I've taught her how to handle the sales call and the whole thing. So she went through the whole sales call, went through the whole process, and she got to the end. And she didn't end up closing them. And so right after she had her call with them, she was getting on a coaching call with me. So we got on the coaching call and what's up today, Celia? She's like, I need your help. she goes, I just had a coaching call with some new potential clients, and she's like, she's like, they're both lawyers. I know finances aren't the issue. She's like, but I went through the whole sales call process. I went through everything, and I got to the end, and it seemed kind of off, and they didn't move forward. And she's like, I don't know what I'm missing. I said, okay. I said, well, tell me what you explained to them. Tell me how you explained your service. She's like, well, I told them, I recommended this program. And she's like, and I told them that we're going to be meeting weekly. So we're going to have weekly one-on-ones together to talk about the stuff that they're going to be doing. And then she's like, and then I told them that I was going to get them plugged into my parenting Facebook group, and they're going to be interacting there. I told them that I got daily lives going in there, that we're doing monthly master classes that we can do. And she's like telling me all the things that her program is, all these things. And she's like, I'm like, so is that everything you told him? She's like, yeah. I said, I know what your problem is. She's like, what? I said, you're talking to lawyers. I'm like, these guys are busy. Both of them, the husband and wife, are both lawyers. They're super busy. And if there's one thing you know about lawyers, their time is valuable, way valuable. So they're charging a high rate per hour for what they do. So everything that you communicated to them is racking up dollar signs in their mind about how much time they're going to have to commit to this process. You're talking about a weekly coaching call. They got to be a part of a Facebook group. They got to pay attention to lives. They got to do monthly master classes. You're telling them all the things that they're going to have to spend their time on, and what they value most is their time. I'm like, so we gotta fix this quick. I'm like, so let's write an email. We're going to write an email. She's like, okay, let's write an email. We're going to write an email. And this is what we're going to say. And we wrote an email right there talking on the thing. And so we're going to send an email. We're going to say, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, thank you so much for the time that you spent with me this morning. I'm like, we want them to know that we understand the value of their time. I'm like, so this is what we're going to write. Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, thank you so much for your time that I love, and I enjoyed connecting with you, talking to you about the needs that your family has. I understand that your time is so valuable, so I really want to respect that, and I really just want to give you a summary of our conversation today. We can summarize the pain points that they have. You want to bring those back to the surface of everything that they told you. And then when I say, listen, the more I thought about it, the more I realized you guys are so busy and there's so much you got going on. And as I thought about all the things that I was telling you I could include in my service, there's a lot of that I think is probably not going to be necessary for you, because you guys simply probably aren't going to have the time to really leverage it. So I'm going to set aside the Facebook group. That's not something you're going to have to engage with. I'll be sure that I keep you guys informed of anything you have the ability to connect with, but it'll all be optional. The main thing that we're going to have to do together is our one-on-ones are going to be so important, but I do also recognize that weekly might be too much. So I would like to set us up on a bi-weekly schedule where we meet for 1 hour bi-weekly, and that's where we're going to spend focus 60 to 90 minutes max really working on you and your family and your children. And then I'll make sure you're informed of the ways and areas that you can get tapped into other resources that I offer along the way, but that primary thing we're going to focus on is that bi-weekly coaching call. This program is going to be X amount of dollars. If you want to get this started, I can get us plugged in right now, and let me know how that feels to you. And we wrote this email. I said, send it right now. And she sent it. She had them closed by the end of the day. Because it's all about what's valuable to them. They had to be confident you understand them, you get them, and that they're way more interested in what you're going to do rather than all the things that your program is. All right, so it's very important. So a couple things I want to ask you on this question: process versus product. First of all, are there steps in your program? Are there steps in your process? What are those steps? So with me, I tell you, I got my signature program is 4 stages, right? So the reason why I communicate that is because it helps someone segment what you're doing, right? It's easier to listen to. So if I tell you, I just have the signature branding package and I start unloading all the things that we're going to do, there's so much that I'm going to give you, it's hard to process it all. But if I tell you I have 4 segments, first one is your brand identity. Second one is your visuals. The third one is your website. The fourth one is your strategy and application. So you break those 4 things out, and it helps someone digest it better and compartmentalize it so they can process it better. So are there steps to what you're doing? Good morning, Camille. Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate that. Are there steps to what you're doing? Are there and if they're not currently, can you set up steps? Maybe there's milestones, because people like progression. And again, people like knowing that you have a plan to work them through the things that you're going to work them through. And the more confidence, the reason why I'm asking you all this thing, Justin, I thought you were going to teach me how to sell out and launch my program. I'm teaching you. The more you can apply steps and process to what you're creating and selling that will give your consumer confidence in your ability to help them, the more likely they are going to pay for it. The reason why people aren't paying for your thing is because they're not confident in your ability to impact their life. So if you can communicate these things in a way where they're like, all right, I get that. I think that could really help. You give them a vision. Vision is so important. If you give them a vision for what's possible and they're confident in your ability to take them through the process, then they're much more likely to pull out the credit card. All right. So are there steps? Two key things that I think are really, really crucial in the process versus product conversation as well is, what do you need to teach and what do they need to apply? What do you need to teach and what do they need to apply? Now, I think that applies to everybody, even trades, businesses. I mean, even if you're just a service provider coming in and executing a service, is there still things that you need to, maybe you need to teach them things on the front end? This is how we're going to do our process. This is what you need to know. This is what it's important for you to understand about our service. And then this is what you're going to need to do to prep it, right? People like to feel prepared. Do y'all agree with that? Like, so the more thorough you are in communicating yourself, I'm running through business ideas in my mind of all these types of businesses, and I'm trying to think of all the different angles, but I think it's super important, no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, you've got to ask yourself, what do I need to teach these people beforehand, throughout, and after the fact? And what do they need to apply beforehand, throughout, and after the fact? Right? Just ask yourself these questions, because the more detailed and thorough you can be with all these steps, the better you're going to have a chance of selling it. All right. And then the last one I think is just very important, is to ask yourself, with each step in your process, with each step in your product, with each step in your program, ask yourself, why is each of those steps important and how does that client benefit from it? Force yourself to answer those questions. And then repeat them and read them and repeat them and read them. And ask yourself over and over and over, because you got to get so comfortable talking about the features and the benefits. They care way more about the benefit. So what you want, the reason why I ask yourself, why is each step important and how does my client benefit from it? You want to get really good at communicating the benefit, because that's what they care about. So take some time to ask yourself, what is it, with what I'm selling with my program? What are the steps of this program? And then each step, why is that step important and how does my client benefit from it, from that step? And then step 2, why is this step important and how do they benefit? Step 3, what is this step? How do they benefit? What is it? Why is it important? All right. Ask yourself those questions, and that should really help you outline your process to really make sure that you're focusing on the process and what's in it for them versus on the product and just simply what you do. Okay. So it's a conversation around product versus process. I know that is thick, but it's necessary to get it. All right, it's necessary to get that. Are you learning something this morning? Give me a yes in the chat stream if I'm connecting some dots for you this morning, because it's very important to get this stuff out. It's hard to teach this. It is. It's hard to teach it, but it's necessary. It's very, very important to understand the psychology behind selling. People, your audience needs this from you. These are the things that most marketers don't figure out how to communicate. And that's why a lot of people really struggle to sell stuff, okay? All right, now I'm going to go to, let's get into the how. I'm gonna give you a variety of angles on the how here. Again, we talked a little bit yesterday about the how from the beginning, and we talked about interest versus commitment, right? There's a difference between interest versus commitment. And a problem that a lot of people have is that they get stuck with people that are just interested, right? Can you relate to that? You get people stuck on just interested, but they don't get past interested to get committed, all right? Very important. Jesse, I have no idea what you're talking about, man. There's nothing wrong with my mom. My mom is great. Everybody, you must be missing somebody else. All right. So interest versus commitment. So let me give you a couple of angles on this one. All right. The first of which is I'm going to give you some things you want to think about. How do you really what we're trying to figure out is how do we get people past general interest and really get them to be committed to you? Okay. So first of all, I'm going to start you out with some questions. All right. So first thing is you've gotta think about what kind of questions can you ask to stir up their emotions. Now, yesterday we talked about what's going to make them desire change. We talked about what physical symptoms do they have, what emotional symptoms do they have, what are they feeling, what are they struggling with, what are they thinking about. So you want to take those things in mind, and you want to ask yourself, what kind of questions can I ask them that's going to stir up their emotions? And remember, keep in mind your target consumer. So remember, yesterday we talked about target consumer, and I said it's very important to simplify who your target consumer is. So my target consumer, very simply, is I work with goal-driven individuals that have a very specific gifting that serves a very specific type of clientele and would like to build a business from it. That's it. Very simple. That's my umbrella client. Goal-driven individuals that have a very specific gifting that serves a very specific type of clientele and have a desire to build a business from it. Now, when you look at your umbrella client, that's my umbrella client, then you want to get some specifics in there. So that can be a couple type of individuals. So I gave 4 examples yesterday. I gave you an example of a stay-at-home mom that maybe she used to be a career woman, but then she stayed home to be with kids. So her husband's working, she's at home, but she's a go-getter and she wants to build a business while working from home to generate income from home. That's a specific type of client. But she still falls under as an umbrella client, right? The second example I gave you was a young entrepreneur, young hustler, straight out of college, maybe couldn't get a job on the degree that they got, and so they're trying to take their gifting and their idea and build a business from it from scratch at a young age. That's a specific type of client. Maybe it's a 50-year-old guy or gal that's worked 30 years in a particular job and hates it and realize that they're stuck, it's at a dead end, and they want to finally do things on their own and get some freedom in their life, so they want to build a business from scratch. Maybe it's someone who lost their job. Some corporate guy or gal lost their job, and now they have all this knowledge and information from their industry, and they want to figure out how to take that information and build a business from it. That's me. That's where I was. So when I think about all these different people, again, all of those 4 examples fall under my umbrella client of goal-driven individuals who have a very specific gift that serves a very specific type of clientele and wants to build a business from it. So when I think about those 4 types, stay-at-home mom, the young hustler, the 50-year-old, and the corporate person that just lost their job, I want to ask myself, I want to think about some questions. What kind of questions can I ask those people to stir up their emotions? One of the questions that I ask all the time, I do it to you guys all the time because, I mean, honestly, you guys all fit in some variety of my target audience, right? So I ask you this question all the time. This is what I mean by a question to stir up emotion. Let me ask you this question. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Like, how many of y'all would say 1 year from now, on May 21st, 2021, do you want your goal to be, you know what, Justin? On May 1st, 2021, I want to be sitting right here in the exact same place that I am today. I want the same connections, the same friendships, the same bank account balance. I want to have the same situations at work, the same situations at home. I want to have the same frustrations. I want to be exactly the same person. I don't want to grow a bit. I want to be, you know what? My goal in the next 12 months is to be exactly where I am today. How many of y'all would say that? Not a chance, right? I don't think so. Because if that's you, you're not in my audience because you are not a goal-driven individual. I think I tugged on a heartstring for some of you guys a little bit there where you think about, where do you want to be a year from now? Man, I want to accomplish some stuff, Justin. I want to get some stuff done. Jamie, good morning. I want to impact some lives. I want to make some things happen, right? I want to acquire more, impact more, accomplish more, do more than I've ever done before. A year from now, I want to be so far forward. I want to look back and be like, wow, what a year. Despite all the bullcrap Corona stuff, I still executed. I still did some things. What a difference from where I am today versus where I was a year ago, right? So what happens? That stirs you up. It stirs you up emotionally. And then ask yourself, well, what is it going to take? What is it going to take to become that person a year from now? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. What it needs to change with you? What do you need to do? What do you need to do differently? What commitments do you make? What have you been saying no to forever that needs a yes out of you? And what have you been saying yes to forever that probably needs a no out of you? What do you need to shift in your life? What do you need to change? What do you need to commit to? Right? So that's a question. Because what does that do? It stirs people up. It stirs people up. It's just a simple question, but it's a powerful question. And it leads you into, yeah, I do need to do some things differently. So when we're talking about how to take people out of general interest and get them into commitment, you've got to be able to ask some questions to stir them up emotionally and make them want to change. All right. Another thing that you need to figure out is questions that create honest awareness. Questions that create honest awareness. So questions that create honest awareness are questions that you ask that get them to be honest with themselves. Somebody say, you know what? Maybe you're communicating your program, or you're talking to someone and you ask, and someone's like, yeah, I'm just not sure. Questions that create honest awareness, you have to be kind of bold. You do. You gotta be bold. I had someone recently that they reached out to me. I did a strategy call with them, and then they were asking how they could work with me, and I was telling them all the ways. And they said to me, after I told them what I do and how I do it, they're like, it all sounds really good. I'm just not sure I'm ready. I'm just not sure I'm ready. I'm like, all right, that's a real feeling. But let me ask you a question. I said, okay. I said, how long have you had that feeling that you're not ready? Is that a new feeling, or is that something you've been entertaining for a while? You've had that feeling for months, possibly years. Every time you consider doing this, you get the feeling like, now's not the time. I'm not ready. I said, can you answer that? She's like, I know. And I said, no, don't dismiss it. I said, try to answer that for yourself. I said, try to answer that for yourself. How long do you think you've been using the I'm not ready as an excuse? I said, listen, I don't remember when or how I said this, but I said, I'm sincerely not trying to pressure you into a sale. I do not pressure sell people. I'm like, I let people make their own decision whether they want to invest in me or not. But what I do is coach people, and I can see that you've been using that excuse for a long time. So how long have you been using that excuse? And she's quiet for a minute. She's like, 6 years. Wow. Really? 6 years. She's like, yeah. I've been telling myself I'm not ready for 6 years. I said, okay. I said, listen. If nothing changes, nothing changes. What happens if you continue using that excuse for another 6 years? What if you just keep using that excuse? She's like, send me a contract. Just like that, send me a contract. Right? But it was like, that question was necessary. Because you can see it, right? You should be able to see that. When you're talking to someone, you can tell when someone is using an excuse or they have doubt. There's another angle of it is, a lot of times I'll have conversations with people on Zoom, and I'll challenge them with something and ask them to do something, and I can tell based upon their eyes and based upon their body language that they're not all in to do it. And I'm like, I can see there's something in your way. What is it? What is it that's stopping you? What's making you nervous about this? And they, right there. So you gotta think about whatever it is that you're doing. again, it's hard to give specific examples without, going through every one of y'all's signature programs. But whatever it is that you're doing, you've got to think about your product, your process, your program, your consumer, and what kind of questions do you need to ask to bring up honest awareness with people, to make them really think about where they're at and get honest with themselves. That's necessary. Again, that's a tactic to get them past interest and into commitment. The third one is questions to challenge action. Questions to challenge action. And I kind of did one already where I basically say to you, she said to me, I've been using that excuse for 6 years. I'm like, what's your life going to look like if you continue using that excuse for 6 years? For another 6 years? You continue using that excuse for everything. That's like, no. What'd she say? Send me a contract, right? Another thing you can say is, how many, let me say it this way. Questions to challenge action. One of the things that I say often is I'll use a quote by Tony Robbins that says, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no new action, you haven't truly decided. So I give people a 48-hour window to decide on something. And it's usually a lot of the times I'll say, you know what? I have a challenge for you. What do you think you can accomplish in the next 48 hours if you really put your mind to it? And I'm like, I'm not going to give you an idea. I want you to tell me what you think you can accomplish in the next 48 hours if you really put your mind to it. And then people will like, all right, you know what? You're right. And they'll like commit to something. And so, all right, can you do this? The thing is, if when you got to get good at talking to your people and asking them the right things and showing them the right things and getting them to realize that they're possible and getting them taking action. That's when they start seeing you as hireable versus as just a nice person. Because honestly, this is the thing. Can I just shoot straight for a second? Well, a big challenge that a lot of people have is they're stuck in the friend zone with their social media audience, right? So the friend zone means that people like you, you're nice, they probably watch your videos, they may even visit your website. They think you're a nice person, they think you got good information, but they wouldn't hire you. Do you guys know anybody like that? I do. I know a lot of people like that. Because I grew up in the live stream world, right? We're Periscope babies. We all grew up with Periscope and live streaming for a long time. And I know a lot of people that I have grown up with in the live stream world that are stuck in the friend zone. I know a lot of people that have built tremendous social media audiences, big ones, large followings. People join their lives. Look at all my viewers. Look at all my shares. I don't care. Let me look at your bank account, right? How many of them are actually paying you? And this is the problem, is that people don't view you as a hireable professional. They view you as a nice person with good information. So the way to get out of the friend zone is when you stop being so nice. I'm thinking in my mind how I want to attack this, but let me think about this. Let's go sports for a second. I don't use sports analogies often, but I'll use one this morning. I'm going to think about a great coach that delivers championship team after championship team after championship team. Is that coach going to gather up their players for practice and be like, well, guys, excited to have you all here today. Why don't you guys, I got some suggestions of some things that you can work on, but, I don't want to pressure y'all into anything. So if you guys just want to, just kind of, let's do this, let's spend some time together. And then, I'd really like you guys to do this, but, it's up to you. No. He's going to coach those people. He's going to coach those kids. He's going to call out their weaknesses and be like, we're going to work on this. He's going to recognize their strengths and celebrate them. He's going to, when issues are going to come up with a team, he's going to hit them square on. He's going to deal with them. He's going to coach that team. He's going to develop unity. He's going to develop teamwork. He's going to help them with strategy. He's going to have the tough conversations. He's going to work long hours to put in the work. He's going to deliver the results because he's going to work that team. When you are a leader of a group, when you are a leader of a following, when you are a leader of a tribe, they are looking for you to lead them. And leaders cannot be passive. Leaders have to have a resolve. Leaders have to speak with conviction. Leaders have to get out there and call people out on their bull crap. This is why I have no problem calling you on your bull crap. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it's your life. You can do what you want with it. But I want to make ripples, y'all. That's my mission. I want to make ripples in this world. My mission every single day is to get you thinking differently, acting differently, and believing differently than you would have if you had not come into this broadcast this morning. And there's a whole bunch of people that swiped by this video this morning because they're like, it's just a Justin video again. They missed out because y'all are getting some good stuff this morning. This is valuable stuff. People pay me a lot of money for these conversations. You need to pick yourself up and recognize I need to challenge my people. I need to put more focus and effort into really creating something that's going to create meaningful change for them. Right? It's a matter of how you operate. You've got to create an impact. You got to make ripples in people's lives so that they see that you are different than everybody else that's just sharing information. Because being a great marketer is not just about sharing information. Being a great marketer is about making an impact. It's about really, truly showing people that you can change their life. Basically, your free content, what you're doing in social media is your appetizer. You should be giving people an appetizer and just whetting their taste buds for if I could just sink my teeth into everything that Justin has to offer. Man, if I had him in my pocket, if I could have him on a coaching call once a week, how he could wake my passion up. That's what I want to do, right? So my mission, when you come in and you listen to me in a live broadcast, my mission is to wake you up, to realize that you've got a gift that God has birthed inside of you. And you've been sitting on that thing for forever. And you've got every excuse and every reason in the book, well, now's not the time. I can't do it today. Now's not the time. I can't do it today. And then all of a sudden that thing starts burning by sitting with me for 48 minutes on live. And you're like, geez, I want to go do something with this thing, but I don't know how. I got to reach out to Justin because I believe he can help me. What you do in the social audience, what you do with your marketing, with your lives, with your content, with your blogs needs to waken people up. It needs to get a fire burning in them. You can't do that by being passive. You can't do that by being inconsistent. I just smacked somebody there too. You can't do by showing up sometimes and not showing up the others. You also cannot do that by showing up with anything less than your best every day. Every freaking day. Your absolute best. Because listen, y'all, every single thing that you do every single day, every single thing that you are doing and not doing every single day is forming your brand identity. It's telling your audience everything that they need to know about you. Somebody said earlier in the chat, they said because you're consistent, or because you show up, because you're here. I've been here consistently, year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day. I'm here. I'm consistent. I'm telling you who I am as a business owner by how I show up. Every single time I bring new content to you, I'm showing you my commitment to my craft, my discipline in my business, my commitment to you as my audience, that I'm always going to be leveling up. I'm always going to be calling you higher. I'm always going to be challenging you with good, relevant, and timely information, right? I'm showing you who I am. So you got to ask yourself, what message am I sending by how I'm currently interacting, what I am currently doing and not doing with my brand and with my business? You're forming your brand identity, all right? So that was a fabulous conversation about interest versus commitment. All right, a couple of things that I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to get you out of here. All right, a couple of elements on how to stir up commitment when all you can seem to get is interest is your topics and your content. First, so I'm going to say emotional topics. My topic today is an emotional topic. So when I think about my audience, my umbrella client, goal-driven individuals that service that have a very specific gifting that serves a very specific type of clientele and want to build a business from it, I think about these people, and I think about the stay-at-home mom that's trying to build a business, the young hustler that's trying to build a business, the 50-year-old plus that's trying to build a business after working 30 years in another job, the corporate executive that just lost their job and is trying to take their knowledge and monetize it. I think about each of those different people, and I think about some of the things that they struggle with. What is their frustration? What are they worried about? What have they tried and it failed? And one of the things that people really struggle with is selling their stuff, right? How to sell it. How do I sell out, Justin? I've done all this work to create. I've created. All of us have created stuff. We've all created the heck out of stuff. But how do you sell it? So I created a broadcast. How to sell out your signature program. This is an emotional topic. I know people are going to come and be like, I want to learn how to do that. How do I do that? Right? So this is an example of an emotional topic because I know it's going to attract the exact people that I know I can help. Right? And that's not manipulative. It's tactical. Somebody put tactical in the chat stream. When you understand your audience and you understand what your audience is dealing with and you get real specific about who are they, what is their problem, what do they need help with, what do I do, how does what I do help that problem, what can I talk about today that can attract that person into my broadcast and give me an opportunity to talk about what I do. So while I'm giving you a tremendous, listen, tactical, Camille, what I've done this morning is I've given you, I created a very specific topic that I know is timely to all the people that I'm dealing with. Right? It's timely and it's relevant. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you so much. When I've created a topic that I know will attract the exact type of clientele that I serve. All right? I'm giving you valuable, highly valuable information so you're really engaged and you're locked in with it. But throughout this entire 53 minutes that I've been live, what have I done? I've been interjecting what I do. I fully and thoroughly communicated to you what my signature program is right in the middle of it. Told you exactly what that is. Told you how I serve people, why I serve people. So I've talked a whole bunch of this broadcast about what I do, but this isn't a sales broadcast at all, right? Nobody feels sold to because I'm using my own example as an example. So I don't know how else to communicate. It doesn't mean that you got to interject your offers into every single broadcast you do, but it was this conversation is tactical because I know this topic is something that people need help with. So emotional topics, you don't just want to be like, what can I do to make people feelsy today? No, what can I do to really go after that segment of my clientele today? What can I really do to go after the young hustlers today? What do I need to do to inspire them? What can I do to go after the stay-at-home moms today and really give them something to sink their teeth into? What can I do to really work on those people that just lost their job or have been infected by the coronavirus? How can I inspire them, motivate them, give them something to think about? How can I that's how I approach my content. Everything that I create, I'm like, can I really help that person today? How can I help them? Give them something to work on going into Memorial Weekend. How can I give them something to really sink their teeth into, all right? Couple other quick things and we got to go because I got to call at 9 o'clock, okay? Practical teaching is important. We're talking about how to stir up commitment, how to take them past interest and get them into commitment. Practical teaching, meaning, very simply, whenever people have an experience or an interaction with you, do they know what to do with it? That's why I ask questions a lot. Answer these questions. That's why I put out a challenge yesterday. I said, any of you all that take my broadcast from yesterday and today and you do all the work from what I'm asking you, answer these questions. I want you to email me. Email me, Justin Kaplan Pro, justin.kaplan@gmail.com, or you can contact me through my website, justinkaplanpro.com, whatever. Email me, tell me about your signature program, answer these questions that I have given to you, and then send me your summary, and I'm going to read through it, and I'll give you feedback on it, and then I'm going to pick 3 people, and I'm going to give them a strategy call based upon your signature program. I'm going to help you. All right, this is what I think is missing. This is what I think you need to add to it, and this is what I would do to create it, launch it, and sell it out over the next 90 days. And I'm going to help you. So all you got to do is send me your work. I want a summary. Now, I'll tell you this. I'll put as much effort into my feedback as you put into the work up front. So if you send me a short little paragraph, then I'll give you a 10-second audio clip back. If you do the work and you really show me that you are really trying to figure this out, and you give me everything that you've got, map this thing out, I'll put as much effort into it as you do. Okay? Practical teaching is basically when people have an experience with you, do they know what to do with it? Do they know what steps to take? One of the things that I get complimented on often is I'm very good at taking tough subjects and breaking them down into very simple process. So can you do that for your own audience? And then the last thing is just giving people simple actions that you know will produce progressive results. So I constantly challenging you guys to take this step, do this thing. Outlining a signature program is obviously not everything you need to do for an entire business, but it's a huge step. It's a huge step. So if I can get you taking some steps forward and doing work based upon my information and getting progressive results, you're going to keep coming back for more information and more help to get more results. All right. So simple actions, progressive results. I'm going to leave you with that for today, guys. Listen, if you haven't already done so, I'd love for you to download the JC Pro app. In case you don't know this, I have my own app. If you go into your app store on iOS or Google Play, look Justin Kaplan Pro. My app is going to come right to the top. You can download that. That thing is free. And when you go into my app, y'all, one of the most valuable things about my app when you go in is my training library at the top. If you go into my training library, both of my broadcasts from today and yesterday are in there. And if you click on today's broadcast, all of my notes from the broadcast are right in there. So you can get all my notes in the app. If you haven't already got my app downloaded, I would love for you to get it. Look up Justin Kaplan Pro in the App Store on Google Play or iOS, and you can download that, all right? Leave you with that for today, guys. Have an amazing Thursday. Appreciate your time. I got to roll. I will see you guys all around the web, all right? Take care. God bless. I'll see you guys later.